In slope-intercept form is our whole goal for the day. So by the end of the hour, we want to be able to take any equation that you're given and put it in slope-intercept form. And not only put it in slope-intercept form, but we also want to identify the slope like we did on Friday, identify the y-intercept like we did on Friday, and then graph like we did on Friday. So just a reminder of a couple things. This is slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. So that's the form we're looking for at the end of the day that we want to be able to put it in and identify both the slope and the y-intercept. Remember we talked about that y-intercept is the point 0b. Okay? So if it's not in that form, what other forms can it be in? Well, it can be in this form right here. This form is what we call standard form of an equation of a line. Standard form of an equation of a line, mathematically speaking, standard form is ax plus by is equal to c, where both a and b can't be 0. Okay, one of them can be, but the other can't be. A, b, and c are just coefficients, just numbers. That's standard form. What we want to be able to do today is we want to take it from standard form into slope-intercept form. So this is the form we're looking for today. And it's an easier way to graph. We plot the point, we do the slope, we graph it. And so in order to do this, what we really have to do is instead of solving for x, having x equals, we want to solve for y and have y equals. So we want to isolate the y variable. So just like we did before, we've got 2 on one side and 1 on the other, so we're good to go. So that means we're going to move some things around. Okay, so I want the x on the other side of the equal sign. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 2x from both sides. As long as I do things to both sides of the equation, the equal sign, I'm good to go. Now if I add up the columns now, if I add up this column, that gives me 0x, which is just 0, so I'm not going to put anything. If I add up this column, the only thing there is 4y. So I've got 4y. If I add up this column here, hey, they're not like terms, so I can't combine them. I'm going to put them in the slope-intercept form where we've got mx plus b. So I've got my x variable plus my b. But I'm not done. Oh, I don't know why I put 4. I know why I put 4, but I didn't mean to put 4. This should be 8. Hey, that should be 8. Sorry about that. So it's just negative 2x plus 8. How do I get rid of that 4 that's in front of the y? Divide by. So now I'm going to divide the left-hand side by 4, but then that means that I have to divide everything by 4. And it's very important that you write it this way. You will see it written sometimes as negative 2x plus 8, and they'll divide by 4, and they'll divide by 4. These two things mean the same exact thing. Problem is when it's written this first way, people forget to divide everything. These mean the same thing, but I would caution you, write it this way. It's easier. 4 divided by 4 is 1, so that just leaves me with y equals. I've got a negative divided by a positive, so that's going to be negative. Now I'm going to reduce the fraction. 2 goes into itself once and into 4 twice. And the x value is still going to come along for the ride. Plus 8 divided by 4 is 2. That's our solution to the question. Write the linear equation into slope-intercept form. we've taken it from standard form to slope-intercept form by solving for y. Let's look at a second one. Let's go 3x minus 5y is equal to 10. What do I want to do first? Minus 3x from both sides. Okay. So we're going to subtract 3x from both sides. What's left on the left-hand side? Three x minus 3x is nothing. So negative 5y equals negative 3x plus 10. Looks right so far. Now what? Divide by negative 5, minus 5. Divide by negative 5, and I'm going to divide everything by negative 5, or negative duck. Negative 5 divided by negative 5 is 1, so that just leaves me with y. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. There's nothing that goes into 3 and 5, so that's just 3/5 x. 10 divided by negative 5 is negative 2. That's slope-intercept form of an equation. So if I just ask you to, don't worry about the other two. If I just ask you to put it in slope-intercept form, are we able to do that? Okay. So now let's take the next kind of step to it. Let's write the linear equation in slope-intercept form. And then after we've done that, we're going to state the slope, the y-intercept, and then go ahead and graph it. So we're taking the new stuff, putting it in slope-intercept form, and we're taking it back to Friday, where you identify the slope and you identify the y-intercept and you graph it. Okay? Go ahead, give it a try. And we've only got 2 more questions and we'll be done. And you'll have plenty of time to get your work done. I think there's an Apple event today. Did anybody hear anything about it, or hasn't it started yet? I think their new phones come up. Apple's new phones are introduced today, and new watches are introduced today. As I was sitting here thinking, I need a mini iPad. It's kind of what was going through my head. I just want a small one. I like this, but I just want a smaller one.
Yeah, and it has the new algorithm that
AI?
Yeah, but like the other kind of AI.
So it'll just figure it out for you. So subtract off 5x. So 5x minus 5x is 0. So that's 2y negative 5x plus 8. So far, so good? Divide by 2. Making sure you divide everything by 2. You know, it's a fascinating thing here with me. I don't know why I do it. Sometimes I loop the 2's, sometimes I don't. In my brain, I don't know why it is. Tried to figure it out, can't figure it out. Those of you that have me before have heard me say that before. So negative 5/2. See, now it's normal. Plus 4. Does that look right? What's the slope? Negative 5 halves. What's the y-intercept? Okay, be careful. Yeah, it's 4, but let's write it as the 0.04. But technically, yeah, it's 4. Okay. What do I graph first, the slope or the intercept? The intercept. We got to have a point, remember. So we graph the intercept. So 0 left and right, 4 up. We put a dot. Up or down? Down. How many?
5.
So down 5, left or right? Right. How many? 2. Connect the dots. La, la, la. There's our graph. It goes downhill like it's supposed to. At a pretty steep angle. Any questions with that first one? All right, let's do one more. Let's do this one. So again, write the linear equation into slope-intercept form, state the slope and the y-intercept, and then graph. How did the soccer game go Saturday?
We won 7-3.
Nice. Nice. Boys tied Worthington?
It was 2-2.
2-2. Football team struggled a little bit on Friday night. Offensive line, they said, couldn't block anybody. That leads to issues and other problems. Do you know Mr. Schmidt, the principal? He used to be the football coach. Long time ago. I'll tell the story when I'm not recording. Okay, let's take a peek. So I've got negative, subtract 5x. So I've got negative 3y equals negative 5x plus 0. Notice I put the plus 0 in there. You don't have to put the plus 0 in there. I put it in there to kind of, because it's always mx plus b, so it's plus something. So I just put the 0 in there to kind of help me out a little bit. So I'm going to divide by negative 3. So that gives me y is equal to a negative divided by a negative is a positive, plus 0 divided by anything is 0. And the reason I put the 0 there is slope is 5/3, right? What's the y-intercept? 0, 0. And if I put the y-intercept there, if I put that plus 0 in there sometimes, it just helps me remember that there's still a y-intercept. It's just 0. If you don't need to put it there, just remember, if there's nothing there, you still have to have a point to start at. If there's nothing there, you start at 0, 0. Okay? So we start at 0, 0 with a highlighter. Up or down? Up 5 over 3. You miss the line, you miss the dots as you're making it, and you call it. So the whole goal today was to be able to write in slope-intercept form and graph. We can do that? Yeah. That finishes Unit 0A. Okay? Remember the test is on Thursday, 2 days from now.